Mr. Crispin here once again, and welcome to my American road trip. B flat. Right, well I think that's everything I'll need, so time to set off. Following the packing of my bags, here I am at Heathrow Airport, and whilst you wait for me to get over to America, why don't I explain what this is all about? In 2006, Night Trainers had an advert that used Johnny Cash's version of the song Hurt as its theme tune. Around this time, my dad was also listening to various guitar CDs, some by John Fahey and some made of the music from the early Delta blues players. Now these few things caught my ear, and shortly after this I came across the film Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and more importantly Oh Brother Where Art Thou's soundtrack, which was made up partly of blues guitar but also a few other genres, one being bluegrass, a music which gets its name from the bluegrass state of Kentucky where they grow bluegrass, and also mountain music, which is the folk music of the Appalachian Mountains. Then came a crucial piece of information from my dad, which was the existence of a radio program accessible online called WDVX. They broadcast from East Tennessee and cover the three genres I have just mentioned, and in particular they play a radio program once a week called Tennessee Country Classics, presented by Joe Bazard, and I have now been listening to that program for over 10 years. So these things formed the focus of what I liked musically, and after 12 to 15 years of listening to and researching these topics, I decided to give it a go myself. And so with the help of a local guitar teacher called Lee Nicklin, I learned the basics of different acoustic guitar playing styles, and once it came to wanting to learn more about the types of music I mentioned earlier, I found myself on the internet researching, and a name that consistently came up was that of Jan Johansson, both through his YouTube channel and Facebook pages. Now, although originally born in Sweden, Jan too found great interest in these genres and ended up moving to America permanently, where he became a full-time professional musician, travelling, teaching and playing all over the states of America. Now fast forward to mid-2022 and Jan agreed to start teaching me. Evening Jan, it's Mr. Crispin here once again.
Good afternoon, I have to say. How you doing, friend?
Not too bad. Have you been playing much lately?
Yeah, I mean, just eat up with the blues, you know, like...
All that remained was now to go and meet him. So that is what I'm now doing. I'm on my way to America, and upon arrival I met him, and within about 6 hours we were at our first bluegrass concert. So let's kick straight off with the first act.
Mr. Larry Sparks and all the Lonesome Ramblers.
Hope you'll enjoy our songs tonight and our playing and singing. And okay.
Yeah, where we going?
Now, boys, make me sound good as you can, will you?
Do our best. We'll try.
You done? I know she'll be waiting. I know she'll be waiting. No, she'll be waiting to see her loving man. Down in Union County, down in Union County, down in Union County, see my Susie Ann. Blue, blue, Virginia blue. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girls in the whole wide world could break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue.
The following morning morning we met with travel companion Alan, and the three of us set off heading for the Earl Scruggs Bluegrass Festival in Flint Hill. Upon arriving in Flint Hill, however, we could not find the festival and nobody in the area had heard of it. Consultation of the map proved we were in the wrong place and we were actually still 2 hours away. There was nothing for it but more driving, and fortunately we went on to arrive in the correct location of Mill Springs in time for Del McCoury's evening set.
I get a strong, easy feeling. Wrong verse. I get a constant busy signal when I call you on the phone. I get a strong, uneasy feeling you're not sitting there alone. I'm having those happy hours we spent together.
Upon completion of the concert, a friend of Jan's, Andrea, invited us to a jam at a place she calls the Holler. It is still unclear how many musicians were present, as the whole session took place in the dark.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
Would you find me that fiddle if you would? I'll carry it.
Leaving the Holler, we set off to travel through the night with the intention of stopping en route. No room at the inn appeared to be the order of the day, however, and after 3 unsuccessful attempts to stop, we arrived at 3 a.m. in the town of Marion. Fortunately, Jan had a plan.
Let's just go to the Waffle House. The Waffle House, where you pay the high price of low living.
Having eventually found refuge and having made use of the late checkout, we headed north on a carefully selected route to take us through the town of Deep Gap, the home place of guitar legend and early influence of mine, Doc Watson.
I bought my gal a great big diamond ring. I bought my woman a great big diamond ring. I took it right back home, caught her doing that same old thing. Baby, what makes you treat your man this way? Where was you when the train left town? I standing on the corner with my head hung down. I wish to the Lord that the train would wreck, kill that engineer and break the fireman's neck. The train that carried me down.
Passing through Deep Gap, we headed for the hills to an event at Grayson Highlands State Park, the Albert Hash Festival.
Doc Watson tune, we like to honor Doc because he's a hero to all of us here. And when he started making those records back in the 60s, it made us all want to learn how to play the guitar.
That is the one to cry for me. The one to cry for me. Lord, I wonder so far away, don't you see? The one to cry for me.
Following his performance, the famous guitar maker Wayne Henderson invited us to his home and workshop in the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, so this is a gluing jig.
Yeah, that's just a, I glue the backs and tops on with this and squeeze the bracing down. Most important part about the guitar as far as sound goes.
Right.
These things,
And looking at the guitar, you wouldn't even know that's there.
No.
And what's left to do on this one?
Well, that's Jane's making these. It's,
right, yeah.
It's a Nick Lucas model Gibson from back in the 30s where they had real thick sides.
Okay, yeah, deep guitar, yeah.
And deep in front.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It was a little deeper back here, but mostly up here is where the deepest come in.
But that ivory was an elephant that was in the Richmond Zoo.
Oh, right.
And he died of old age.
Yeah.
And they buried him in a park. And 20-some years later, they dug him up, and the guy that was digging thought he found the dinosaur or something. His skull, it had those tusks still in it.
Yeah, like a
And,
mammoth.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what he thought. What he thought he'd found.
Right.
And they called in the authorities, and one of the authorities was a fella from a newspaper that I'd built a guitar for at one time, and he had been there a long time and knew the story about the elephant. So that's no dinosaur or nothing like that. Said that's that old elephant in the zoo. It died. We buried him right here.
Jan asked if you would play with him.
Okay, but we'd go outside the place. I won't bother you.
Why don't you take off the right now, right?
You go ahead.
I'm not going to play too fast.
Well, I can't anymore.
Appalachian Mountains, we returned to North Carolina and headed for the historic Bluegrass Festival of Camp Springs, originally started by Carlton Haney during the 1960s. Upon arrival at the Camp Springs Bluegrass Festival, we were hosted by Pammy and Rolo Lassiter and made to feel very welcome in their High Lonesome Strings tent. Jan led the jams whilst I had a look around and spotted some scenery also present in this 1971 documentary.
A Bluegrass Festival where you can hear the soul of a man. In the lonesome part of a night after the moon's come up, and you look down across the stage and you hear the lonesome sound of Ralph Stanley.
Sorrow, I've seen trouble on my day. I bid farewell to old Kentucky and stayed where I was born and raised.
15 dollars is my game, 15 is my draw. Random Collins is my name for the state funky song.
Cheaper gold is you got a body that can yeah. Oh, how power woman, Lord, you got the party looking low.
Upon the last act finishing, Jan was warmed up and ready for the night shift. With regular checks to ensure Alan was still awake, we concluded the first leg of our road trip by driving back to Raleigh. Here we were based in Jan's studio for the following 4 days, in which I was introduced to various musicians and students.
Difference is like so they'd be like a D5 chord, but here's the D7th. So you can, for example, listen. You can do that. Okay. This time I want you to change something. I want you to add this finger. Yeah. Well, you could stay in first position and do this.
It's an accent.
Yeah, he's from England, you know. And I'd say wherever you're from in the world,
You have a slight accent.
And to all people, to most of the people around the world, you're gonna sound or talk funny.
Leg 2 of our road trip began with what should have been a 4-hour drive to Asheville. However, while still close to home, we left the interstate on account of Jan wanting to find a bookshop. All the bookshops were closed, although as we left I noted the sign for Chapel Hill, home place of the influential guitar player Elizabeth Cotten, who wrote the famous folk song Freight Train.
Elizabeth, you wrote one of the most famous folk songs of all time, called Freight Train. How did you come to write that song?
Well, just as I said, I lay in bed at night and he had stewing over on the track, trying to come in. And I'd go to sleep hearing that the rest of the night. So I guess that gave me a mind to write something about the freight train.
Wonderful.
Let's do another one.
Seal him in.
Sealed in.
By midnight, we had managed to cover 17 miles of our 247-mile journey, which resulted in Alan having to drive through the night to our refuge point of Hickory, where we once again made use of the late checkout.
182 miles, continue straight.
See, we came right through here the other night.
From Hickory, we completed the journey to Asheville, stopping for lunch with banjo player Seth Reinhardt.
Yeah, that was totally unnecessary, wasn't it? Whatever that person did.
Tell you what, I have half a mind to say. Half a mind.
You need any help?
Yeah. You hold it down.
Whilst in Asheville, we again headed into the hills to meet the highly acclaimed fiddle player Bobby Hicks.
And Bobby Hicks waved to some of his relatives there.
Yep, I waved at Mom.
Is he the one that writes those pretty songs?
You betcha. He writes songs just like Irving Berlin.
Well, what's he doing in prison?
He also writes checks.
Why?
He owns a house in Oregon. I don't know exactly where in Oregon. But he also owns a place in little town just outside of Pittsburgh, Texas. That's where he got all this guitar player.
Yeah.
What keys it puts you in, it's just woodworks just like the rest of the fiddle.
Right.
With an overnight stop scheduled for Nashville, we now headed to a location of great significance, the boyhood home of Bluegrass's originator, Bill Monroe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the originator and champion of bluegrass music, Mr. Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys.
Stand upon the spot in my memory. Come on my way back to the old home. There is no one I long to see. Come on my way back to the old home. Goodbye to that city. There's no light in the window that's shining on my
I got
My name is Jody Fleener. I am the producer, and today we are at Jerusalem Ridge. Jerusalem Ridge is the home of Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. So this is our 5th year running. I'm very happy today with the crowd. We've got some great bands that have been here, and it's fun to do the production of the festival because bands actually feel that it's a privilege to play on the grounds where Bill worked and played as a young boy. And sometimes I just can't imagine how much music these trees have really heard, because Bill and his whole family played music. So to hold a festival here is sort of like on hallowed ground. And the bands love to play it, so we kind of listen to everybody and go through who we want to play at the festival, and everyone has a fun time.
Music was not all the festival had to offer. Now open to visitors, the once dilapidated childhood home of Bill Monroe now stands fully refurbished.
And the house stood empty after all. But when the leaves starts to fall, you know, the rain starts to drip from the tree. There's an old man who walks in the dark, and his hair is bound up in memory. Jesus died there on the cross, so this world would not be lost. Send it down what I say, for someday you have to pay. Are there still that big old divide? We've all been sitting and talk about the old days, the way they did in 1949. Oh, 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 I'd like to be back in the hills of Tennessee. Oh, oh, oh.
Following the festival, we returned to Nashville.
There's a lot of motorhomes got stuck on them curves and lost their bumpers and everything else.
You got to know how to drive on them curves and mountain. You got to know how to drive on them.
You remember the year you come up there in a stretch limousine, a big old.
So like 1, 2, 3, 4.
from the surroundings of the Grand Ole Opry. Please welcome Mr. Crispin and the Lost Navigators. Arriving at the Grand Ole Opry's Ryman Auditorium, homage was paid to the statue of Bill Monroe, who during his lifetime was noted as the only living American to have invented an art form.
What is bluegrass and how did it get started?
Jan, bluegrass is a music that I originated and put into what I wanted to have in it so that I wouldn't be copying any man. And there's a lot of different ideas in bluegrass. It's got its own kind of timing, and there's a bagpipe style in that of, Scotland, and so you'll find some blues in it, some jazz in it. You'll find Methodist, Baptist, and Holiness singing in it. And to me, it's the greatest music in the world.
I'd like to introduce the group. And on the left-hand side with the guitar is a man from the state of North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina. His name is Ralph Lewis, and he'd appreciate a hand from me. And the boy with the bass fiddle, he's from Asheville, North Carolina, and he's a wonderful bass man. His name is Randy Davis. Make Randy welcome. On the right-hand side with the five-string banjo is a boy from the state of Iowa, and he's a fine banjo man. You're going to enjoy him tonight. His name is Bob Black. Make Bob welcome. And with the little fiddle on the right-hand side from the state of Kentucky, the greatest fiddler in bluegrass music, Kenny Baker. Give him a hand.
Departure from Nashville concluded the second leg of our road trip, whereby we returned directly to Raleigh. This left one day before my return to England.
Your route may be affected by flash flood.
We're gonna try to make it back, sure. Yeah.
Okay, it's just still a good ride, you said.
Yeah, well, if we get too tired, if Alan gets too tired, we'll just sleep a little bit and keep on going.
Take a break.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Just be careful, okay?
What are we gonna do?
Well, I thought we'd do the old crossroads. The old crossroads. All
Oh, my brothers, take this warning. Don't let old Satan hold your hand. Be lost and sinner forever.
end of this journey brought time to reflect upon the many interstates, roads and mountain scenes that we had seen. Driving these roads had brought us to many people, musicians and friends, as well as bringing the opportunity to visit places of historic significance. Paths had been crossed with the formers of bluegrass, mountain music and the country blues, and also the living legends of today still performing were also encountered, alongside more contemporary artists and a great abundance of younger performers and musicians. This road trip had in total covered over 2,000 miles, facilitated only by Jan's extensive contacts and Alan's dedicated driving. All in all, this trip has proved that one art form still very much alive in America today is bluegrass.
And to me, it's the greatest music in the world.
And with that, it was time to depart. Oh, the trip I've had. Oh, howdy partner. As you can see, I'm back here in England, and fortunately we were able to stop in Nashville such that I could buy me a Stetson. They managed to have one in my size despite the fact that I've had a big head ever since I was 2. Right, well, to everybody I've met, it was nice to meet you. Thank you, Alan, for your many hours of driving, and of course thank you, Jan, for facilitating the trip and making it all happen. So apart from that, I'll say thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting, and see you on the next video.